Shah Jahan was tolerating the existence of Bijapur and Golconda on the southern borders of Mughal Empire. He even allowed them to expand in the south. But this wasn't so with the new viceroy, Aurangzeb. Mughal diplomacy became very active with the arrival of Prince Aurangzeb as viceroy of Deccan. The conquest of Bijapur and Golconda was his agenda. He was seducing officials from that region for this purpose. Very soon an opportunity presented itself to Aurangzeb. Mir Jumla, the prime minister of Golconda, was a military genius. His administration of trade, inland and overseas, made him the most powerful person in the court of Golconda. Abdullah Qutb Shah, of Golconda, became suspicious of Mir Jumla, his powerful minister. Mir became anxious because of this and was looking for support to save himself and his jagirs. Aurangzeb seized this opportunity to win over Mir to his side. Mir tried to make friendship with Shahji, as an agent of Aurangzeb, by giving assurances of favor. With the support of Mir, Aurangzeb attacked Golconda. This was a short struggle and they would have destroyed Golconda. But the intervention of Shah Jahan, who was jealous of the growing power of Aurangzeb, saved Golconda from total destruction. Shah Jahan appointed Mir as the prime minister of Mughal Empire. Aurangzeb undertook to keep a watch on the jagirs of Mir in Karnataka region. There was a prominent clan called Mori in the Jawali region. Chandra Rao was heading it. Shivaji overthrew them and captured the fort of Raigad. With this he started posing real threat to the Bijapur. To cut out communications with them, he constructed a massive fort at Pratapgarh. But a greater danger to Bijapur was from Aurangzeb. He marched to Bijapur and captured it. This success of Mughals alarmed Shivaji. He was also worried about the security of Pune region, so he raided Mughal district in Ahmednagar. Aurangzeb was wild with anger. He ordered his men to raid Shivaji's territory and slay people without pity, and ruin Shivaji's possessions utterly. At this time Shah Jahan fell into grave illness. Aurangzeb marched towards the north to force succession issue. The Mughal affairs in Deccan fell into confusion. Seizing this great opportunity, Shivaji swooped down upon Kalyan and Bhiwandi and occupied them. Later he captured the fort of Mahuli and came in possession of the fort of Old Nizam Shahi territory. Aurangzeb was deeply embarrassed by this, but in his hurry to go to the north, he could hardly do anything. He wrote a letter to Adil Shah to expel Shivaji, who has sneaked into the possessions of his forts. He even wrote letter to Shivaji to make friends. He was only trying to delay matters. But Shivaji was consolidating his gains in Konkan region. Sidi Fateh Khan of Janjira was the next to face the might of Shivaji. In next 2 years, he took hold of many of the strongholds of Siddhis. This alarmed the Portuguese, and they started assisting the Siddhis. Shivaji started to construct a number of coastal forts for his navy's protection, and to watch and curb the activities of Portuguese. The Mughal were land-based force, they didn't have any navy. It was only later when they joined hands with Janjars and started launching a small navy into operation. Under such circumstances, Shivaji's stress on naval power reveals his far-sightedness. He can be even acclaimed as the father of Indian Navy. Aurangzeb was involved in his succession struggle, thus his young son, Muazzam, was holding charge of the Deccan. This gave the Bijapur a respite from Mughal attention. Thus, they turned their attention towards Shivaji. Bijapur's main enemy was Mughals, not Shivaji. They could have remained neutral, in the Mughal Shivaji issue, but they undertook to accomplish what the Mughals wanted them to do. Adil Shah appointed his general, Afzal Khan, for this task. He ordered him to be merciless on Shivaji, even if he offers to make a peaceful submission after losing. Afzal Khan marched out of Bijapur. On the way, he threatened the caretakers of Pandharpur temple with destruction if they didn't provide funds. In the midst of this crisis, his wife Saibai passed away, leaving his son Sambhaji to his care, leaving him, heart-broken. Afzal Khan wrote an ultimatum to Shivaji, stating him to give up all forts and territories, and make peace with Bijapur king. He was doing false propaganda against Shivaji, stating, he destroyed mosques, to instill rage amongst his men. Shivaji was in a desperate position. To surrender would mean a political suicide. He had a unique capacity of inspiring confidence and loyalty among his followers. He replied to the letter of Afzal Khan. It was carefully worded, and full of double meaning. Afzal moved towards Jawali to meet Shivaji. It was decided that they meet outside the fort of Pratapgarh in a pavilion. They could have 10 bodyguards who would be placed at a bow shot from the place of interview. While Shivaji and Afzal Khan were to be in pavilion with their arms and would have not more than 2 or 3 servants. This was a severe crisis in Shivaji's life. The strain on him would have been almost unbearable. Shiva was a man of great spiritual strength, staunchly devoted to his religion. He was having the blessing of goddess Bhavani. Shivaji met Afzal on November 10, 1659. Both entered the pavilion fully armed, and with their emissaries. Shivaji had a broadsword, a long dagger, and a concealed tiger claws. Afzal Khan had a sword and a dagger with him. To instill confidence in Shivaji, he handed over his sword to his attendant. He said Shivaji to give up his proud attitude and offer complete surrender. He also said that he would take him to Bijapur with his own hand, make him bend before the king, and by humble request to the Lord, procure him greater splendor. He said Shiva to not be bewildered, and embrace him. Saying so, he embraced Shivaji. Afzal was a man of super strength. With his massive build, he used to lift the wheels of cannon by bare hand, and could bend rod of iron. He was of a ruthless attitude. Even the mighty Aurangzeb feared Afzal Khan. With Shivaji in his grip, the temptation to kill the enemy was too strong for him. So held the neck of Shiva in his left hand, and with the other, struck him in the side with a dagger. An expert wrestler, Shivaji quickly got his own neck released, and avoided the dagger, as it entered his side. Shivaji immediately thrust his tiger claw deep into Afzal Khan. Afzal reeled under the blow, and stumbling with uncertain steps, said to his followers to kill him. An attendant struck sword at Shivaji, but Shiva retaliated by killing both the attendants. He also killed Afzal Khan and chopped off their heads. The bodyguards came rushing in. Shivaji troops defended themselves stoutly, and withdrew to the fort. Afzal had to pay the price for his harsh overconfidence. Later, Shivaji's troops led a surprise attack on Afzal Khan's army and destroyed them. This victory gave the Marathas an enormous plunder. 65 elephants, 4,000 horses, 1,200 camels, 3 lakh rupees worth jewelry, 2,000 bales of garments, 7 lakh rupees in cash. In addition, all cannons, guns and weapons of all kinds, and other equipment, were captured. The remnants of Afzal Khan army fled to Bijapur. Bijapur had foolishly involved itself in what was really a Mughal Maratha affair, and paid a heavy penalty for it. It was a great boost to the morale of the Marathas. The Maratha state, small but compact, was turning into reality. Make sure to subscribe, so you don't miss out on my future videos. The more subscribers I get, again the better and more content I can continue making. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.